Welcome back to the channel. So today we will be solving this Tiger Analytics interview question in PySpark, right? So this is very important problem, right? So here in this question, we have been given this one input table where we have the customer detail, basically customer ID, flight ID, origin and destination. We have the flight data. Similarly, in the output, we need these three columns, that is customer ID, and for each customer we need the origin, that is from where the journey is starting and where it is ending, right? So let's see the challenge that we need to solve. Find the origin and the destination of each customer, right? So for each customer we need origin and destination. Note, so we have note over here, there can be more than one stops for the same customer journey. Okay, so if you see here, for the customer ID 1 we have like, so like the origin is Delhi and the destination is Mangalore. But if you see, we have three flights, not one flight, right? So we can say that it is not a direct flight. We have multiple halts or stops in between, right? So flight 1 is going from Delhi to Hyderabad, and then flight 2 is from Hyderabad to Kochi, and then from Kochi to Mangalore. So if you see, for the customer ID 1, origin is Delhi and destination is Mangalore. Similarly, for customer 2, if we see, we have two flight, and the origin is Mumbai and the destination is Gorakhpur via Ayodhya, right? So this is the output which we can see over here, right? So the question is like quite simple to understand, right? But the solution would be a little tricky, right? So let's see how we can approach this. Okay, so so if we see, for the same customer ID, we have multiple flights, right? So for the customer ID 1, like he is reaching from origin to destination via three flight, right? Similarly, this one is reaching via two flight. So what we can do, we can generate a row number, right? We can generate a row number and get the first flight and the last flight, right? So let me generate the row number over here. So what we will do, we will partition the data on customer ID, right? And like in code, how we can write, we can like partition the data, partition, we can write partition by, and we can pass this customer ID, and then we can order the data, we can write order by, and based on the flight ID, because would be the in increasing order, right? So we can write like this. So let's do this via here only. So we will partition the data on the customer ID, because for each customer we need, like there is a different story for each customer, right? So the customer are not dependent to each other, right? So we can write over 1 2 3, right? So the row number will be 1 2 3, and similarly for the customer ID 2, the row number will be 1 and 2. Got it, right? So till now we have reached here. Now, so what we can do, we can find the first flight and the last flight over here. So if you see this, let me change the color of the pen. So if you see here, this is the first flight, this is the first flight, this is the last flight for the customer ID 1, right? Similarly, for this one, the first flight is this one and the last flight is this one. So what we can do, we can generate one more data frame where we will store the first and the last flight. We don't bother about the in between, right? So here we have like only three flight, right? And the two flight for the customer ID 1 and 2 respectively. What if we have 5 and 6, right? So there, like, we don't bother about these rows, right? So let us do that. So let us write, so for the customer ID 1, the start is 1, right? The start is 1, so we can write 1, and let me write the end over here. So end, or we can say that start and end. So end will be, so start is 1 and end is 3, right? So we can write over 3. Similarly, for customer ID 2, the start is 1, the start is 1 and end is 2, right? Start is 1 and end is 2. Okay, so now we have the start and end, that is the first flight and the last flight. So now if we know the first and last flight, so can we get the origin and destination, right? How we can get? We can get it by joining these two tables, or we can say that joining these two df. So we can name this as df1, this can be df2, and we can join this on customer id. We can join this on customer id and get the start and end. So let's say if we join it, so let me write the start over here. So this for the each customer and end is here. Okay. So for customer ID 1, start is 1, right? So let me write 1, 1, 1. For customer ID 2, the end is 3. So 3, 3, 3. Similarly, for customer ID 2, the start is 1 and end is 2. So we can write 1, 1, and here 2, 2. Okay, awesome. So now for each customer, we have the start and end. So what is the next step? What is the next step? So if you see the pattern, so if the like rank, if the like not rank, the row number is equal to the start, so this is the origin. And if you see here, if the row number is equal to the end, that is the destination, right? So similarly over here also, let me change the color. Let me take this one. So if the row number is equal to the start, so this is the uh, origin, and if the row number is equal to the end, it is the destination. So let me write the formula over here. So we can write the formula. If the row number is equal to start, then we can say that it's origin. And similarly, if the row number is equal to end, then it's destination. This we will do it in case when statement, or that is we can say that when and otherwise in pyspark, right? So let's code it up in the Databricks notebook, right? Okay, now here we are in our Databricks notebook. So here if you see, I have created this data frame, right? So I will provide this create statement in the description section. You can try it by yourself also. So let us run this also. Now you can see we have the same data, right? So here we will import the required thing. So let us, so what was the our first step? So first step was creating this row number, right? To get the first and the last flight. So what we can do, we can create the this. So we can write df1 is equal to df dot. Let me write the what is the name df flight. So we can write df flight is DEwithDhairy dot with column, right? Because we want a row number, so we can write here row number. Okay, so since we are using row number, so we will have to import. So let's import that. So from pyspark dot SQL dot functions import row number, right? Similarly, we will need call also. And since we are using here row number, that is a window function, we will need window also. So we can write pyspark.sql import window, right? Okay, so we can write here dot over and let's create the window. So window is very simple. As I explained, we will partition the data. Window dot partition by, we will partition the data on customer ID, right? So let me write over here customer ID, and then let me see the bracket properly, and we will order the data, order by on what? Flight ID. It's simple. So we can write flight ID, and let's print this. Let us see if we are getting it properly. Okay, awesome. So if you see, we have 3 flight for customer ID 1 and 2 flight for customer ID 2, right? So what was the next step? So the next step was finding this data frame where we will have for the each customer, we will have the start and end. So how we can do this? Now here, each keyword is involved, right? Each keyword. As I have mentioned, wherever you see each keyword, it's group by class, right? So let's do that. So let me do this. So finding start and end, we can have this as df2, right? So we can write df2 is equal to df1 df1 dot group by, and we want to group the data on cust ID, right? So that is customer ID, cust ID, and the we want to aggregate the data. So what we want, start and end. Start is nothing but min, and end is nothing but max of Rn. So let's do that. So we can write min of column Rn. So we can alias this as start, right? And similarly, what we can do, we can copy this, right? And write the max also. So let me write the max of Rn. This will be end, right? So this is end, and since we are using min and max over here, so we will have to import here min and max, right? Let me run this, and let's print tf2 also, and then we will join it with the above uh, df and get the required output. So if you see, for each customer, we have the first flight and the last flight for the particular journey, right? So what was our next step? So next step was joining these two tables, right? That is df1 and df2. So let's do that. So we can write df answer, right? Df answer equal to df1 dot join df2. And how we want to join? We want to join on, we can join this data on this cust ID column. So we can write, df df1 df1 dot cust ID should be equal to df2 dot cust ID, that is customer ID, right? And let's put this in parentheses, and let me print this. So df answer dot so, right? Let's see the output. Okay. So for each customer, we have the start and end, right? We have start and end. If you see, for here we have three record, and start is 1 and end is 3. Awesome, right? So for each customer, we have this data. So if you see, we have multiple cust ID. So what we can do over here, we can drop this. Like we can drop one of the cust ID. So we can write df1 dot cust ID, right? So let me run this again. Okay, so if you see, we only have one customer ID, right? So what was our next step? So after getting this data, what we were doing, we were using this formula, right? And how we can achieve this formula? Using when statement. So let's do that quickly. So we can write df final, right? Equal to df, we can write answer dot group by. For each customer, we need to find the this. So whenever the start will be equal to the rank, so that will be the origin, and wherever the end will be equal to the rank, that will be our destination. This is what we saw over here. So let's write it quickly. So we can write call when call rn is equal to call start. So when these two are equal, so the what we want, so when start is equal to rank, so it is origin, right? It is origin, and we can close this bracket. And since we need a aggregate function, so this is a trick. Basically we will write max over here, and we can alias this as origin, right? Similarly, we can copy this and paste it here, and we can have here end. So here we need destination, right? So destination, and this will be destination. We are aliasing this as destination, and let's print this. So let me write your answer. Oh, sorry, your final dot. So let's see what we are getting. Okay, awesome, right? So for each customer ID, we have origin and the destination. If you see for the customer ID 1, we have Delhi, Mangalore, and similarly for customer ID 2, we have Mumbai to Gorakhpur. And let's see over here. So if you see, we have achieved the required output. So yes, if you like this content, please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. And if you're new to this channel, you can you can check out my channel. So here you will find a lot of interview related stuff, right? So let's meet in the next problem. Until then, bye.